Coming to you live from Music City, USA, it's the Nashville Casting Couch. I'm Chris Burks, along with your locally famous host, TJ Cates, who is in the invitation-only studio high atop the city overlooking everything that is Nashville entertainment. Now lay back and enjoy the ride that we call the Nashville Casting Couch.
3, quiet on set, and action.
This is TJ Cates with a very special episode of Nashville Casting Couch. Stephanie Adlington, my little sister. I always call you my little sister because you're the first sofa that I got to land on when I hit Nashville.
You were, actually. Yeah, we have a little plaque above it that says TJ slept here.
The sad thing about that is I know that sofa lives at your parents' house now.
Well, it's still there.
Yeah.
And you can still sleep on it.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, you've graduated.
Can we give a shout out to your parents?
We can.
I know they're watching.
Nancy and Larry.
Nancy and Larry.
Yeah, they love you. Adopted son.
Nancy will cook anything that you want. You just dream it up and she'll cook it.
She'll do it.
And Larry will make you see two of everybody after 2 drinks of his bourbon. I don't know what kind of bourbon that man makes, but he brings it, and the first time he brought it to me, I'm like, I gotta drink it. He's kind of manly. He's like a Marine.
Yeah.
He was a conductor person for the train. For the railroad.
Yeah. Engineer.
Engineer?
Engineer. He drove it.
He drove it.
He drove it.
He drove overtime. Where's Matt? I asked him. We spent Christmas Eve at the house, and Matt said, just vaguely on his second drink, and he's like, so Larry, did you ever hit anything? He said, son, let me give you a list. He started going down a list.
Yeah.
He had cars, he had people, he had cows.
Cows.
He said he'd lay on the floor sometimes and just take the hit and keep going. He said, anyway, Larry, what's up, buddy?
Anyway, yeah, hey.
All right.
Parents. Yeah.
What are you doing? Let's talk about all your busy stuff.
Man, I'm doing a lot, actually. So last year, 2014, was kind of the build it, it will come stage. And now this year is going to be kind of seeing where it's going to go. So it's pretty exciting. Got my EP, which I just finished
I heard
last
like
year.
months ago in Burger Up.
You did. You heard like the very beginning stage of it when nothing was really kind of.
And I still liked it.
Yeah, no, I was really excited.
It was like
about
Stephanie
that.
Adlington Unplugged.
I was a little nervous because if you didn't like it, I'd be like, crap, I got to sing
I was
it all
nervous
over
and I was
again.
not stupid enough to say I didn't like it, but actually it turns out I did like it.
Wow, that's so good because that could have been bad, like all the way around. Yeah, so we just finished that. I got 4 originals and a cover song on there. So and now we're in the artwork phase of kind of branding it, you know, what we want it to look like.
Let's talk about the song that you're going to allow us to use in our film that Jeff's actually putting a CD together for.
Oh, fantastic!
Which is very exciting, and it's for Southern Aces. Okay. What's the song?
Bootleggers Blues. So anyone that knows me kind of knows I'm of that time period, like the 20s through the 60s. I just think socially and
I like
and
the 30s,
culturally
40s,
and
yeah,
the fashion and the music and the history and everything that was going on was so cool. And I just love that time period. And I got a book, actually I got from my dad, called Driving with the Devil, The History of NASCAR, because he loves NASCAR.
That's what started.
Yeah, and he I don't know if he read it or not, but I did. And so I was like, this is the coolest story ever. Because
here's this book, a lot of words. Where's the Jack Daniels? I can hear your dad right now.
So I got this book, and it was literally about how these guys, you know, back in the day in West Virginia, where I'm from, and in Georgia and all the South, and kind of, you know, all the neighboring states would make their craft, you know, and then they'd have to haul it, and so how they would take these cars and soup them up and have these wonderful chases at midnight in the dark, and I just thought, God, how exciting is that? So I really want to write that story, and so I got to use some of the language, you know, that I learned from that, and just I'm kind of a geek about doing history, and I kind of dove into that whole thing. I
like history. I didn't like it in school, but now I really like it.
Yeah, well, it's because now we get to do it.
Our favorite movie, Lawless.
Lawless, Tom Hardy.
Best movie ever.
Oh my gosh, that was great.
I love it.
That was great.
I absolutely love it.
Can I just say, generally, I'm always about the book. Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Before the film, sorry, film people, but
the
that
book was a different name.
It was a different name, The Wettest County in the World. That's what it was called. But I actually enjoyed the film more because it didn't jump around. The book kind of jumped around from time period to time period. It was hard to kind of do, but yeah.
Yeah, I heard Kanye said a not so clever thing this week about people with words. So I'm now reluctant to talk about. I don't read, but it takes a lot of time to read.
Yeah.
Or research.
Research, that's good.
The books and stuff. My dad will read a book a day. Louis Lamar.
Oh,
my mom quoted like one of his quotes about writing.
Well, your mom's a writer.
She's a writer. That's I think where I got my creative side from.
Yeah, very good.
And I got my throwing really good parties from my dad. So you gotta take something.
Exactly, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. So yeah, so the EP's coming out, and that song hopefully will be in your film, and I'm excited about that. And
you're playing a venue tomorrow.
Playing Taps
before
tomorrow.
This will air.
Before this will air, the Taps
We're really
something.
into all. Everybody's looking at me, and Jill's looking at me funny because it's like we got to come up with a really cool name for our music venue.
Yeah.
So we call it Sunday Fun Day Music Showcase.
Sunday Fun Day Music Showcase.
Yeah, because we're gonna have it on Sunday.
Sunday Fun Day Music Showcase. Good. Okay, I can do that.
Okay, and you're gonna sing there tomorrow with Jeff Galvero.
Yes, exactly. The amazing Jeff's gonna accompany me. We're gonna be like the
He
hottest
got
duo.
so excited.
ever.
Oh my God! Last night he's like, "Do you think she'll really let me? She won't answer my text." I said, "I text her." Why didn't you answer his text? We'll come back to that. And I said, he really is excited about learning any song that you want him to sing, and he's at the computer and I videoed it.
Aww.
And this morning he said, "Man, take that video off. I don't look very cool."
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
No, did you text me? I'm sorry. I'm really not very good.
You were on your phone because you were answering my text. It's called the awkward moment on Nashville.
I could have been on my
Casting Couch.
iPad answering you, and then on
Yeah,
the phone
that's
answering
probably what it
you.
was.
Yeah, who knows?
Let's go with that. Where
'Cause
can people
I'm
find you?
so-
StephanieAdlington.com.
They can find me a lot of places actually. www.stephanieadlington.com. I like to say www
Do you?
because we're Southerners and that's
Yeah.
how we say it. W.
W?
Yeah.
Okay.
W.
And where'd you go to school? Let's just talk about that. Where do you work at? Because that's pretty impressive.
You think so?
It is to me.
Oh, okay. I went to the Royal. It was so funny how they were talking earlier about the speech impediment. I had a speech impediment growing up, so I couldn't say R's either. So now that I have to say the Royal Academy of Music, I have to stop and think about that.
In England, right?
In England, yeah. Royal.
And you got your degree from over there.
Mhm. So I was there for about 5 years and got all my stuff, and it was amazing. And I met a lot of wonderful, wonderful people and got to work with some great people.
Cool.
And then, yeah, so now I teach at Belmont. That's my day job.
You just teach at Belmont, teach
commercial
voice,
voice.
no big deal.
You gotta do something.
And now you landed on the casting couch. Your life is just going straight uphill.
It's great. It's great. I gotta talk about Old Chicago Souls.
Okay. Steve Alberts was here a minute ago.
Steve Alberts got me into Old Chicago Souls. Steve, love you, actually. Steve and I are both West Virginians.
Oh yeah, yeah.
A big connection. We're big, we love our state.
I can't even relate. I'm not from there.
Well, I have cousins in Mississippi, so it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. What, is that the microphone?
Oh,
Should I not
no.
talk?
I've
So,
had it for like ever,
it's
and I
good.
realized today it looks kind of cool.
It's good. I like it. It's good.
I like it
So we had worked together before, and he said he was working on this kind of film noir, 1930s type of film, and I should maybe get involved with it. And actually Jeff Flack, who wrote, directed, and produced the whole thing, came to one of my gigs at F. Scott's, and which is no longer here in town. I know, one of my jazz
The little
gigs.
Mexican restaurant is still there.
I don't care.
It's good.
But so he came, him and his lovely fiancee, Miss Randy, came to F. Scott's and heard my gig, and he said, I'm doing this film, would you be interested? And I said, oh my gosh, I'd love to read the script, and he sent it. And I love film noir. I love film from that time period. I love the flat dialogue. I love the black and white. I love just the whole structure of it, and I love gangster flicks, as we've talked about things like that, Goodfellas and things.
Yeah.
Before.
Oh, don't get me started on Goodfellas.
Sonny.
We'll never stop.
Sonny,
I know. Well, Sonny was Godfather.
We've got that whole thing. I know, but
I could
we've got
so
that.
relate to Sonny
I know.
and Godfather.
Well, you are my Sonny.
I know.
You are my
I know.
Sonny.
Man, that's what I do.
That's what you do. And anyway, so I got involved with the picture, and I get to play the femme fatale, which was
It's so cool.
ever so exciting. And so it's in the editing phase now, and it's going to be released sometime. And I got some music in it, which is really exciting.
You did?
Yes, I got to write the opening theme song called Burn. A really good friend of mine, Rodney Engel, is a co-writer that I work with a lot, and we wrote that, which was so exciting because we'd never really written something for a different genre. It's always been kind of what I wanted to do or what he was doing, and how does this kind of go into our artistry. And so I said, Jeff, I've never really written something for this specific thing. What do you want? So he kind of gave me a list of stuff, and then I went through with a list of stuff, and then it was kind of going through and just marking things off. And it was really, really cool to kind of write for something descriptive outside
It's
of
amazing that you're a songwriter, but you can write different eras.
Well,
Everybody else
that's kind
is.
of
We
my
were talking
goal.
earlier, somebody was on the show, and they were talking about, he came to town in 1963, and he was with Chris Christopherson and Johnny Cash, and they wrote about their experience.
So
And now they talk about a lot of songwriters, which there's nothing wrong with it, because they're filling up amphitheaters and stuff, but they're not writing about an experience.
Right.
So.
I feel as a songwriter, and this is just me, but I feel like you got to have a platform. You got to know what you're saying. You got to know what you're about. You have people's attention. You should say something worth it. And I really believe, and I say this all the time, that music can change the world, and it has changed the world. And so you need to say something powerful. We Shall Overcome, Pete Seeger. Changed the world.
Bob Seger's coming to town.
Bob Seger, which my
Another of
parents
the
are
Segers.
going to that. Pete Seeger, Bob Seger, I don't know, but
You know, I interviewed Rick Springfield last week.
yes, I
did.
do,
You tried to call him.
and I tried to
He
call
actually
him.
he told me he loves songwriting better than singing and performing.
Really?
hmm And he's songwriting with some Rascal Flatts and people like that in Nashville right now. And he said everything's coming to Nashville. He's going to trade in his Converse for some boots.
Did
So
you get to
anyway.
meet Jessie? Was she there?
I didn't ask him. Everybody asked about Jesse.
I know, but
Yeah, but I thought it was really interesting because he's really all about songwriters.
that's
and lyrics.
fantastic.
And his lyrics are good.
His lyrics are good. Well, he's been around a long time.
Not that long.
Oh, I got to talk about one other thing. Speaking of songwriting, I just got to do a documentary on. It's going to be coming out, I believe, later on this year or beginning of next year. It's called More Than Words, and it's the Nashville journey into songwriting. And it's produced by Suzanne Holmes and Jim Green. And what they're doing basically is they just had a passion for this project to go and find all these different songwriters, because all these
Right.
songwriters kind of come to town, and you got to remember, for every hit there's probably 1,000 songs
Yeah.
that have been written that no one's ever going to hear of, and for every successful songwriter there's 1,000 more that aren't. So what she wanted to do was just kind of go around to some of these people she's met, or people that have been kind of, oh, I know this person, you should talk to them. And I got to go in and just talk about songwriting for about 2 hours, and it was really cool. So
Songwriting is very different. You have to understand the music and the notes and all
Mm-hmm.
that. But if you don't have a good story.
it's all about the story.
My friend Vicki Potus Jacobs, that's also one of our sponsors,
Mhm.
Big Gap Music LLC, and she is a publisher. And what she does is she takes music from songwriters and she can get it pitched to the big names because they can't do it
Fantastic,
themselves.
Right.
She serves a really good purpose, and she's meeting some really good artists. And she's like,
Right.
"Wow, these people are ready to make it on their own, and
Yeah.
they just have these songs." But sometimes like Blake Shelton, he sold the I want to talk about me, talk about you.
Mhm.
The Toby Keith song, that was his song. He wrote as a rap, and he ended up selling it to make money so he could come back and fund his own
I didn't
thing.
even know that.
Well,
wow.
I know a lot of stuff that I shouldn't.
Wow.
But that's how Blake Shelton got his money, because he had a record deal for 8 years, and his record label collapsed, and they wouldn't release a CD. So he sold that song, and he wanted to record it, but Toby made it
Yeah.
and got him going, and now
Yeah.
Blake's courting everybody.
Yeah.
Blake's showing everybody.
Blake Shelton. Well, it's so interesting too how somebody can write a song and then somebody else can take it and put their spin on it.
Yeah.
And then where does it go? And that's what I think the coolest thing about song. If you have a story, if you have a core story,
It's
then
got to
you
have
can
some
take it.
substance, man. If
Oh, it
it's going to
does.
last more than 6 months.
Exactly. Well, then you can take it into any genre. I mean, you can take it into country, you can take it into pop, you can take it into rock, you can take it into gospel.
They need to remake My Sharona.
I like that song.
That's a good song.
That is a good song.
Yeah, nobody knows about it. It's a good song.
I know that song.
All right, Stephanie
Yeah.
Adlington, StephanieAdlington.com.
S. Oh, and on
That's the
Twitter,
casting
and
couch.
it's S_Adlington,
It's still
and I'm on Instagram.
Coming to you live from Music City, USA.
He ain't got your swagger. No, he ain't got that little clip in his chin. He ain't no way better. 'Cause you're the baddest country boy, sweetest sin. He ain't got my soft lips on him every morning anymore. He's only got a memory instead of some long walking, sweet talking, not summer nights. Some innocent teasing and the little love bites you like.